I would like to introduce our next speaker, who is SS, brother SS Afsar Khadri, who is a member of managing committee at IICCB. He runs a business called Naha Technologies Private Limited, entrepreneur software development, web design, and e-commerce solution. Something that no one knows about him. He got elected as a president of Model Lok Sabha at YMCA in 1991 and delivered the first public speech. He was interviewed by the co-editor of the Japanese popular magazine Sukha Sincho in 1999 for the session of enterprising entrepreneurs of India, and was published in the same month. He was received memento from the governor for his excellency by Dr. Bharadwaj under the Kannada and Cultural Department. He was also received memento from Padma Shri Padma Bhushan Professor Gopichand Nagaraj for contribution towards promotion of Urdu language. His past association is he was been associated with Karnataka Urdu Academy, the Kannada Art and Culture Department. Been as a member of All India Urdu Munch, and the host of the first World Urdu Conference in Bangalore. Currently, he is the secretary of All India Milli Council Bangalore, district governor of BAMCEF, and a trustee of GMTB Bangalore. Now, I would like to hand over this to our brother SS Afsar Khadri.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear members, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to today's session, a very interesting topic which has been given to me to actually take up, okay, that is business networking. Okay, in fact, Nizam Bhai has made it a little easier for me by setting the preamble of networking. Okay, now to start with, I would like to get into the basics first. You know, in the olden days when human beings look for food, they used to actually go out hunting. They used to go for hunting, they used to get that kill, come back, have their food, go back to sleep. Now what happens the next day again? They again go out for hunting once again, go for their kill, have their stomachs filled, go back to sleep. So this is actually a continuous process. Okay, so after some time they realize that at a later stage, they will not have the strength, the stamina to continue with this process. They will not be, continuing hunting as such. So they sat down and understood what's to be done. So that is when they discovered farming. What happens in farming is you actually sow these seeds, you actually plant the trees, which is going to, and you actually nurture them properly till they grow to a level where the trees start giving you the fruit for a long time, for your lifetime, or maybe even later on. So this basically is about farming. You're actually setting up a process where you're going to be getting back your resources, your food assets on a continual basis. Now, why am I telling you this? You will find it very interesting to know that even after so many centuries of development in civilization, even today when business owners go out in search of business, there are some who actually do hunting and there are very few who actually do farming. Now, what is the difference? The key differentiator is networking. How well you are actually networked, how you actually employ networking in your day-to-day activities. So what is networking? So with the word networking, the one thing that comes to your mind is connectivity. You know about mobile networks, you know about computer networks and all the type of connectivity as such. So if you have to understand the technology when computers were evolving, there were different types of networks. People who are in IT, they will know what I'm talking of. You had bus type of network where all people were connected one after the other in a row. Then you had actually the ring type of network when you have a group of connectivity and they are connected in a circle. And finally, what evolved was the star topology, where every node is connected to the other node on a one-to-one basis. That is the star type of networking. A similar type of scenario exists in human networking. when you are in a group of people, when you are interacting with a group of people in a maybe conclave or maybe in a session of networking, what generally happens is that you are interacting with the person who's sitting to you on the right hand side and the person sitting to you on the left hand side. You don't tend to actually interact much with the people during the meeting or maybe even after the meeting with the people who are away from you. What happens? You actually tend to lose the opportunities, the potential opportunity of meeting somebody who could have been a game changer in your business, who could have been a potential connect to you, who could have helped you to achieve the goals that you have set by probably interacting and networking with that person. So networking basically, when you are connected to one, it is the opportunity of connecting with all resources available with you, which in a group or in individuals. That is simple networking when you connect with each other in a group. Now, what is business networking? There is simple networking and there is business networking. When you talk of simple networking, you just connect with people, share your personal stories with them, and you come out without having an agenda. So, what is a business networking? A business networking, if you see the definition I happen to pick up in the definition of business networking, it says networking is a socio-economic business activity by which business people and entrepreneurs meet to form business relationships and to recognize, create, or act upon business opportunities, share information, and seek potential partners for ventures. This actually is the whole combination of what all things that you need to do to for a business networking. To make it simple, if I have to put it my way, I would define business networking is the art of establishing long-standing, meaningful relationships with people who can help you to keep growing over the years to come. That's what is business networking. And this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Sometimes it would happen early, sometimes it could happen very late as such. But business networking is like farming. Why did I actually set the precedent earlier? Business networking actually is like farming. It is not like hunting. For a good business networker, you need to be a farmer. You cannot be a hunter. If you want to know the difference between hunting and farming, let me put it to you this way. Marketing and sales is what hunters do, and networking is what farmers do. So if you are looking at the long run, if you're a visionary, what you need to actually do is adapt to the business networking strategies, which are going to actually keep you going a long way. Now, the question arises is, why do you need a business network? Now, you might think that you're smart, you're sincere, and you're hardworking, you have a good sales and marketing promotion strategy, but is that enough? In the long run, that's not going to be just enough, because you need to build a network of people whom you can collaborate with and with whom you can build the trust and confidence, which will convert into business opportunities and growth. The whole idea of running a business is to expand the business, and to expand the business, your strategies of promoting the business, getting a good sales force with you, getting good marketing strategies to promote the business, acquire new customers. It is the whole thing revolves around creating this cycle where you can generate more business. So if I have to share with you, in the last pandemic, we actually did not feel the pinch of the slowdown of business assets, because we were able to get sufficient amount of work. Uh, okay, so we were really not feeling the pinch about getting the slowdown in the business, because we were getting sufficient works coming from different places. But our sales team was sleeping; it was not active. How this happened? This happened because of the referrals which were coming back from our old customers and the referrals. Now, this happened because we had built a relationship, a network of people who had the trust and confidence with us, which could drive business to us. So, building this type of a network and selecting the right people who will belong to this network is what is called as successful business networking. So, you have to build a successful business networking. You need to actually go through this process of building the business network. So how do you achieve a healthy business network? Now, there are various methodologies, there are various ways to build a network. First of all, somebody asked, if you have to win a lottery, what do I have to do? Okay. First and foremost thing is you have to buy the lottery ticket. Okay. Without that, it's not going to help, right? So if you have to actually get into establishing a good, healthy business network, the first and foremost thing that you need to do is get yourself into a group of networking professionals from where you can actually start building your network. That's the first step that you need to do. Now, some effective networking tips, if you would like to share. Siti, I would like to first set the fundamentals straight. Okay, when you actually join a business networking group, if you are getting into the group thinking that what is it that I can get from this group, what is it that I can acquire once I enter this group, you are going wrong. You cannot be a networker unless and until you start thinking what I can give. You cannot, you, for a good networking person, you need to be a giver. You have to shed the thoughts of, initially what is it that you're getting. See, let me share with you that one line which probably is one of my favorites, and this happens to be from my favorite guy, John F. Kennedy, the President of United States. When he gave that statement, it changed the mindset of many of the Americans, when he said, my fellow countrymen, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. The mindset is, it's changed. It's when you start thinking that what is it that I can do instead of thinking what I can get. This is where your networking starts. So the journey of converting yourself from being selfish to being selfless, that actually defines how good a networking strategy will have and how good a networker that you are going to be in the long run. Okay, now, to be a good networker, you need to be a good giver as such. And the one thing that I have learned being in BNI, the Business Network International, for so many years is that whatever good you do to the others, it comes back to you. Because givers gain, we have something philosophy called the givers gain, where when you give, it definitely comes back to you. What goes around really comes around. So you don't lose in giving, but you gain a lot. What it actually builds is the trust, the confidence, and the relationship, which is very essential in a business networking group. Okay. Now, they say the currency of real networking is not greed, but generosity. So this is the mindset, first of all, which you need to prepare before you step into getting into a business networking. Now, go with a clear agenda. When I say that you have to do a simple networking where you actually meet people, gossip around, and then come back without getting anything out as such, when you go for a business networking, you have to set the clear agenda. The clear agenda is you are looking out for people with whom you can collaborate, with whom you can actually build. You will identify people who can actually get with you, who can help you to achieve the goals that you have in mind, who can actually take you along, okay, to show you the pathway access to get to the destination that you have actually marked for yourself. See, today, the best way of beat competition is collaboration, right? If I have to give an example, let's say we are we have computer softwares, we have the software for healthcare, we have software for real estate management, and but IT is having 1,000 different domains. If I have an inquiry for maybe somebody looking for a banking software asset, I don't start building. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. What I simply do is I look for a person who's having a banking solution in my group of networkers, and I will connect him to my customer. Okay. Now, the same thing happened when I started connecting my other, people, though they are competition in my business in software, but they are not competing in the domains that I work on. So once I start connecting these people to my other requirements for my customers, after a couple of connects, what happens is they come back to me and say, okay, what is it that you have? We would like to actually connect you, to somebody whom we know about, for the, solutions that you have. So this is what happens. The givers, once you start giving, definitely you will start actually gaining. So to establish, you have to go to the business meeting with a clear agenda that you're looking for people whom you can collaborate with, or you can actually uh, get them on board. You can work together as a power team. Okay. Now, secondly, You establish connections and not just contacts. You see, many people in a networking meet, what happens is you exchange cards. You collect, I've seen people having a hunger for collecting cards. Go there, hello, how are you? I want to take your card. Yeah, this is my card. Collecting cards is not actually networking. Okay, see, you might be having 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 contacts on your mobile phones, okay, or in your computers. You might be having thousands of visiting cards laying in the albums. But honestly, think about it. How many of these people do you know personally? What they do? What are their strengths? What are their expertise into as such? It is not about how many people know you. It is about how much people know about you that really matters. So relationship is established when you actually know the people with all their strengths, capabilities. When people know you with all your strengths, your capabilities, your traits, okay, and your efficiencies, that is where you actually establish a relationship which is going to help you in your business networking and your growth. Okay, now next, consistency. You know, people sometimes have this option of grooming themselves for a meeting, and then again they are back to their old form when they're out of the fitting. See, the display of your professionalism should not be a performance. It has to be a habit. Understand this very clearly. Your professional approach to people should not be a performance. It has to be a habit. You need to actually cultivate the habit of being professional, being sincere, being honest all the time as such. You cannot put up an act, because the most important factor for business networking is the trust that the other person can have with you, and the confidence that he can have with you, which is going to build the relationship as such. Now, you being good at something, okay, need not be displayed at times. It has to be actually constantly on display. Or you can even cultivate these habits of uh, acquiring professionalism by practicing. You see, it is better to do one thing 100 times rather than doing 100 things at one time. If you have to become perfect, practice is what actually makes you perfect. If you have to actually become professional, you have to practice professionalism. You cannot actually keep on hip hopping and doing different things one time, a different 100 things. You do the same thing 100 times. Okay, cultivate the habit, make it a habit. That is what actually defines in the long run. People identify you with certain traits, certain features that you have, certain strengths that you have, and the efficiencies that you have. So these traits have to be built to perfection. And then when you interact with people, they will identify you, and they will be willing to actually connect with a person who is consistent in his professional approach and his attributes. Okay, now building reputation. Now this actually again is the part of building reputation. When you have to build a reputation cannot be built overnight. It takes time, it takes efforts, and it requires sincerity to build goodwill and reputation with some other business owner. This can be achieved by different ways, okay, by different meetings. Anybody who wants to do networking with somebody who is dedicated to a particular trade is actually a welcome idea. People generally look for people to do networking, those people who are having attributes which are class apart from others as such. You would have seen people trying to look forward to communicate to people who should display good attributes, who display leadership qualities, who display good communication skills, and who have a good body language. A person who actually has a given up body language, a person who is not really energetic, nobody wants to actually connect with him. So you need to actually build your qualities which are suitable for you to place yourself in a place where business networking happens and people come to you for networking. But of course, if you don't really have to wait for people to come to you, you need to actually approach people. In business networking, the one thing that you are going to do is talk to people. The first step is, if you're thinking that somebody will come to you and talk and you have to wait, networking doesn't happen that way at all. You need to shed the fear of talking. You need to share really shed that fear that you're not good at communication. You need to start someplace and you need to actually take the initiative. If you are not taking the initiative, you can never be a good networker. Okay. Now, once you have actually got into a network where you belong and where you have a large amount of people, business owners, okay, whom you can network with, what is it that you next do is you build meaningful relationships. What you mean by meaningful relationships is, you see, when you go to a group of maybe 50 or 100 people, it is not necessary that every person actually will be, your somebody whom you can, coordinate with, somebody who can be a good referral, member for you, somebody who can drive business for you. You need to actually be choosy because you know your business, you know what your goals are, you know where you're going. Your destination actually is already marked by you. If you have not marked your destination, then you will not be in the correct direction. What you need to actually do is, once you have actually set a destination, the destination actually gives you the direction. So you need to identify, if you have a destination, who is it that can put you in the right direction, and who is it that can accompany you on this path, in which you can fulfill and reach to your destination. So you go, identify the people in your organization, in the business networking group that you have, those people, and start building relationships with them. The relationship building again happens over trust, and it's going to take a lot of time uh, to build the relationship. As let's say, now, effective communication, the next part, as such, once you have identified the people with whom it is a feasible connectivity that you would like to have, what you need to do is start, communicating. Once you communicate to people, what is it that you have the strategy of working together or the strategy of working alone? Once you have actually started giving out, to people, and once the process of receiving starts, then you identify and understand the these two people can actually have a partnership. You can actually collaborate and you can work together. So communicate to the other person very clearly what is it that you have in mind and what is it that you need to achieve, what is the gifts that you have and what are the asks that you have. Now these gifts and asks basically come at the last point. As such, initially business, relationships building does not include gifts and asks. It is only give, because it is only when you become a giver that a relationship is built, and after a period of time you actually set straight the asks that you have and the type of business connects that you would look for and the type of collaboration that you would look for, and how is it that the other person can contribute for you to reach your goals. Okay. Now this happens this can happen over different forms of communication. Communications could be either by phone calls or by emails, or most importantly, you need to have one-to-one communications. And a person, when you actually meet a person face to face, it is maybe 20 times, 30 times, more effective, okay, than either talking to a person over phone or maybe having a video chat with a person as such. So effective communication is when you start meeting the people, understand what is it that you can give to them, so that the other person also can understand what is it that he can give to you. This is actually is what is building a meaningful relationships, where you clearly define what is it that you can give to him and what is it that he can give to you. Okay. So this type of network relationships, once you have built a tangible relationship where a gives and takes have been clearly defined, you are sure that this will be a lasting and meaningful relationship. And once you have built a sizable number of such relationships with different people in your business network, and if you have achieved the goal of the effective business network, which will drive your business to you month on month, year on year, okay, then you will not have to go out hunting for new business, because by this time, if you have already made a business network of these people who are willing to give you, as such, if you have successfully created a business network of people who give you tangible returns as such, then you don't have to go out for hunting, because by this time you have already become a farmer. You have already done the farm. You have sowed the seeds of trust and confidence in different business owners, where they're going to drive the business for you month and month, year on year. Okay. So they say the richest people in the world, they look for building networks, and the others, they look for work. So, ladies and gentlemen, to establish business relationships, this is a small path that you have to take as such. And in fact, I think if you have to get into in depth of actually how effective communication can be, how business relationships can be, how the trust can be built, all this thing probably could I could probably take it up in the next seminar as such. Okay, so as of now, this is how, why it is important. What I have covered is, what is a network? Why is it essential for you to have a network? What is the difference between a simple, non-tangible network and a business network, which will convert you to business as such, and how you build the network and grow your business over the years to come. Okay, thanking you. Thank you all. That's
Jazakallah khair, Afsar Saab, for sharing the benefits of business networking, and how it can benefit businesses in our community and at IICCB. So we definitely look forward to have a business networking session very soon, and expect all the participants to join the business networking and benefit from the business networking. I just want to announce a couple of quick points that you can actually ask your questions to all the speakers in the Q&A tab, or in the end, now that we are almost completing after this poll, you can raise your hands, and we will unmute you so that you can ask your questions to the speakers whom you choose to ask questions. So before completing, I also request the members, the participants, to register yourself as a member at iiccb.org and reap the benefits of our chambers.
That way, before raising the questions, I would like to conclude a couple of points.
Yeah, your conclusion is coming, Amin, right?
Yeah.
I'll just complete this poll, then you will conclude on this.
Sure.
So I just request members to reply to this poll, so we know how much people have understood. I'm just launching a poll. It has very simple questions. Yeah. You get few seconds to reply to this. Please go ahead and reply. Another 30 seconds. Alhamdulillah, people are understanding Afsar Bhai's explanation on networking. I see the need of networking is visible by all the members. We'll close the poll in last 10 seconds. Please complete your answers. Last 5 seconds.
Let them roll it down, no, scroll it down, because there are 6 questions. Make them aware, please.
The poll now. Let's see what the results are. So Alhamdulillah, people are seeing the value of networking, and most of them have realized that business networking will help to convert network to businesses, growth, and achieve goals. And business networking will help them definitely, and benefits are also understood. So is the meaningful relationship, the value of meaningful relationship, and 100% of the members have said they are willing to be part of the upcoming IICCB business networking event. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, Afsar Bhai, for very insightful session. We